Hello, everybody. The Warm here with some more Raging Loop. Um, it has been quite a long day, and it is now very late at night. And yeah, I guess I'm ready to play more of this. I guess it's a. This is supposed to be a horror story, right? So I guess it's appropriate to be playing into the wee hours of the day. Uh, but man, am I glad the day is over, and I'm very happy to be doing something I actually find interesting. Um, and thankfully, it's one of those nights where you know you don't have to get up very early. Still have to get up relatively early, but not really early. So I can just sit here and take my time, and that's a good feeling. I'll say that much. Um, so what's been going on? What's been happening in Raging Loop thus far? Last time we spent the night at Chammy's, had a potentially dangerous encounter. What with the drinking and the staying in the room of a young woman that we don't know, but we seem to have navigated it all right. And after that, Haruaki decided to leave on his own, explore around. Saw a woman that looked suspiciously like Tutorial Lady, and then followed her footprints to see where she had gone. We went past a construction site. Apparently, there was a landslide there. But due to the vegetation, supposedly, Haruaki could tell that it wasn't too long ago that area was in use, I guess is what the conclusion was. We went to the village. We noticed, or Haruaki noticed, that there were a bunch of, I think I wrote them down as stone steelies, but I'm not sure if steely is the right word to describe what they were. It might be something common in Japanese that I wouldn't be familiar with. But I think Haruaki himself used just the word monument, so not sure what they are, but stone monument or stele, whatever they are, they seem to be placed around and within the village because we saw them both sort of on the outskirts and inside, between houses and stuff like that. And the village just seemed to be like a quaint, rural Japanese village. There were some rice paddies, some small homes. He remarked that it's surrounded on all sides by sort of mountainous areas, I guess. So the point that he's driving home is that this is a very isolated area. And he got spooked a bit because he got what would it be, like a premonition that, how do I even describe this? That essentially that he as an outsider would not be welcome in an isolated village that may have a unique culture, something like that. And he pretty active imagination. He even imagined that Chiemi was some sort of bait to, get outsiders, and then they could rob and kill them. I don't know. I understood what he was saying, but he seemed to be going a bit too quick for me on that train of thought. But something that did support that idea, I should say, was we heard a song play from a speaker that was in a plaza We didn't actually see it. It was described to us. And when this happened, people seemed to come out of the houses. We only saw one, I think, an old woman who wore a... it wasn't really a mask, so to speak. I'm not sure what it would be called, but her face, a face covering of some sort. And she seemed to begin to pray. Pray to one of the stones. Hard to say without, actually asking whether she was worshiping the stone itself or what the stone represents. Too early to say, but obviously that spooked Haruaki, and he retreated back to the apartment. And it was here that we met 3 new characters, and I have them here. I think I didn't do very well pronouncing them last time. Let me check here. Okay, we have Yasunaga Oribe, Chikamochi Kamoshida, and Haru Makishima. And all 3 of them seem to be school children. Maybe a bit old. Well, Yasunaga seems a bit older than the other 2, but they all were wearing school uniforms. Chikamochi and Yasunaga had these formal uniforms on, but Haru Makishima, I think Haruaki commented, it seemed a bit more flashy or trendy, I guess you could say, school uniform. And of course we had a somewhat humorous scene where, because of the misunderstanding, they thought that perhaps he was being untoward to Chiemi. All 3 of them seem to know Chiemi, so there's a connection there. But they thought, he was perhaps making advances on her, and they were upset to hear that, or to imagine that. And Chiemi came out and saved us, essentially. So that's where we are. One thing I want to talk about, I think I said I had a thought last time, but then I just never brought it up and didn't expand upon it. I just wanted to say, I'm not going to get into too much detail in case there's anyone here who hasn't read it, but this isn't a spoiler or anything. It's more just a comment on the setting. I'm getting quite a bit of I'm getting some Higurashi vibes here. If anyone who's watching this has played that, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about. And it's mostly just that that rural Japanese village setting that you're getting, and it's because we're in Higurashi, it's Hinamizawa, and it is also a rural Japanese village that seems to have a unique culture to it. And so once again, here we are. Rural Japanese village that may have a unique culture. So, similar setting. It's just since most of last episode, it was just nagging me. Like this is. And then there's a construction site, and if you've played, you know what I'm talking about. I don't know. It tickled me kind of thinking about that. In any case, let's stop just recapping and get on with it. Let's see where this goes.
いや、それはいいんだけど。
That Haru-chan girl still looked at me funny. She seemed the most weary of all of them about us. And so we don't know if that's just her or if that's a more common sentiment among the villagers.
非常識。申し訳ない。昨日は本当に疲労困憊でね。つい好意に甘えてしまったんだ。
まあ知恵ねえだしな。雑把だよな。
事情も事情だし、年寄りたちも納得するかな。
Elders, huh?
ちなみに会ったのってどこです？
それはね、
下の方の河原だよ。
My words made everyone change their expressions.
それはちょっと。
Is there something wrong with that river?
大騒ぎだ。2日連続で2人もだなんて。
Oh? Are we not the only visitor?
もしかしてまずいこと言った？
はあ、まあいずれバレることよ。さっきあれだけ大騒ぎしちゃったから休みず順に知れちゃったろうし。
Ooh, Yasumizu. Is that our village?
君2日連続で2人もって何のこと？
触らないで、汚い。
Whoa. I mean, I'm not sure we took a... Did we take a shower? I'm not sure if we took a shower, but surely we're not that filthy. I mean, yeah, there's that. I wasn't trying to touch her, and I wasn't filthy. Sure, I hadn't had a bath in over a day, but still.
君何が騒ぎになるの？
Does that river have a kind of cultural significance here?
タエバあたりが拒否ってなる。
Thai? Well, that sure sounded bad.
詳しい話を聞かせてくれない？
Yeah, don't leave me in the dark here.
ちょっと説明は難しいんですけど、まあここは田舎なんで町といろいろ違うってことですよ。
Yes, I'm getting that sense. This guy here was Oribe-kun, ignored Chiemi, and he was the easiest person to talk to. I need to remember, like, I understand, I do know the Japanese convention of, having honorifics and, you know, their first and last names are different from, they're switched from how we in the West would have them normally. But I can't remember if they're, if they switch, sometimes when they localize or translate a Japanese work, sometimes they'll switch the names over just so that it's easier for, Westerners to instantly sort of realize first last name. I don't think, I guess I'm confused about, what's the first and last name here? So is Oribe his? And I know it's kind of, if you call someone by their first name in Japanese, that could be seen as overly familiar. So is Oribe his family name? And so he's Oribe-kun. Is Chiemi her first name? I think Chiemi is her first name, isn't it? Because earlier, Haruaki asked about what I think is her surname, Sarazawa or something, and if she was related to a historical figure. So I think Chiemi's her first name, and so because of that, I think Yasunaga is his first name, and so Oribe-kun. I think. Someone correct me if I'm wrong.
どうすればいいかな？
I think it's his first name is actually. I think what they're doing is switching it for my sake as a Westerner. I think. So I think his first name is Haruaki and his family is Fusaishi. But I know in Japanese it would be Fusaishi Haruaki instead.
まあちえみがなんとかしましょう。学生諸君はとりあえずご飯行かないと。
So that could have been another thing, like the students hearing him call her Chiemi instead of like Sarazawa could have made them think he's being overly familiar or something. I think. Yeah, Yeah, someone tell me if I've got this screwed up, because that's somewhat important to know.
この混乱には乗るっきゃない。
This younger student, younger kid, he asked us to call him Mochi as a nickname. So, yeah, but he's younger, so it could just be that's what he wants people to call him.
乗るっきゃなくないもっち。とりあえず行っちゃいな。私らちょっと遅れていくから。
She just said it there.
まあちょっと時間ずらした方がいいよね。揉めそうだし。
It's best to go separately.
さすがヤスくん、察しがいいぞ。ごめんけど二人のお守りよろしくね。
うん。
もう知恵ね、子供扱いはやめてよ。
Do you have a crush, sir?
そうだ、うんこしてやるぞ。
I'm guessing you're the youngest of this group.
ほらほら行くぞ、モッチーにハルちゃん。
And so the students walked off toward the stairs. It was easy to tell what sort of relationship they had. Anyway.
彼らがこの建物の他の住人？
そういうこと。学生寮だからね、ここ。
It's a student dorm, you say? A student dorm. In this Hicksville. Yeah, even at least the guys, they had these very formal-looking uniforms. Still, my senses had betrayed me. There were actually other people here.
ちなみに春明さん、他の人と出会ってトラブったりしてないよね。
Well, we saw a mysterious figure looking up at us, from the second floor. They were down on the ground. We were on the second floor. And then we saw an old lady, but I'm not sure she saw us. But somewhat creepy tutorial lady saw us.
うん。一応それ警戒してたから。
ならよかった。よし、ちょっとしたら食堂に行きましょう。
He was cautious a bit later, but he's not going into detail, so, okay.
あ、朝食？
の、朝食は今から食べてください。食堂へは一応面通しをしに行くの。
え、誰と？
よそ者が皿長からやってきたってことに文句を言いそうな人たち。
Saranaga? My intuition is telling me that might be the river, Saranaga. I think the town is Yasumizu, and I think Saranaga might be the river. Oh, so like that Taiba person, huh?
お世話になります。
いいってことです。その代わり、朝のことは秘密で。
What? You mean the drinking? What exactly?
そりゃもちろん。ところで、皿長って何？あの河原？
Hey, that was my guess.
そう、皿長の瀬っていう川だけど、あの辺まとめて皿長って呼ぶの。ちょっと曰くのある場所でね。
Okay.
曰く。
うん。あの川は汚れていて、死人が帰ってくるみたいな伝説がね。
You don't say. You know, there was a river in Hinamizawa too. Oh, so that's why they'd reacted like that.
他にもその手のルールというか、しきたりみたいなのが？
It's good you're asking all this stuff. That is certainly something you want to be aware of.
たくさんあります。なので基本、ちえみちゃんにお任せを。
Yes, please do that. Gladly on all fronts.
ちなみに、身の危険とかは？
ないない。でも、いろいろ不愉快な思いをする前に、早く出て行けた方がいいかも。
Well, it would help if we got our motorbike, so we should probably think about getting back there to recover that at some point.
そのための根回しに行くと。
そうそう。
The settlement I'd strayed to was a weird place, but at least the guide was reliable. And she wanted me to leave ASAP, huh?
Hmm?
That was depressing. Chami gave me some cup ramen for breakfast. She boiled the water in a small electric kettle. The girl herself was too hungover to eat anything. I did take the opportunity to pay her back for last night's drinks in person, though. Then we made our way to the dining hall. Haruaki is quite conscientious. He paid for what he drank and all that stuff, and so he's I can appreciate that, certainly.
この岩って何なの？
Yes, the boulders.
一応お守りみたいなもの？昔からあるよ。
Charms, you say?
よそでは見たことないよ。
ああ、言われたらそうかも。
She led me along a narrower path than I'd followed earlier. It didn't seem like any cars used this one. It was very farmy, I guess. This area was also littered with those boulders. Some were cracked, broken, or half buried in the fields. They were clearly religious symbols, but it didn't look like they were that important these days. Or were they? Now that I knew I was safe, I once again became curious about this place.
あ、人だ。
He was working on the field.
たくみ兄ちゃんだ。おはよ
Chemi waved her hand. The man responded, but then froze mid-wave.
う。じゃあ行きましょう。
いいの？多分あの人、僕の存在に驚いたんじゃ。
大丈夫。どうせ後で食堂に来るから、説明はその時にするってことで。
Let's just, let's keep our head down and stick with Chami for now. Well, if she said so. As an outsider, I had no choice but to rely on her. This was the part of the village I saw this morning, where the buildings were more densely packed. I didn't notice it back then, but it was actually kind of weird. Basically, it felt desolate. The wooden bungalows, in particular, were more or less overgrown, buried in tall grass and other greenery. If this was all I saw of the village, and someone told me it was abandoned, I'd have easily believed them. However, two of the buildings stood out. Hey, looking like a shrine to me. There was a hall right beyond the hill. It wasn't that big, but it looked grand and well maintained. The other building was obviously the dining hall. It looked a bit dirty, but I could tell there were people inside. From what I could tell, it was most likely... From what I could tell, it was the most lively place in this poor excuse for a community. Suddenly, the three students walked out, chatting about something.
あ、知恵ね。と、久石さん。
再度おはよう。ちょっと遅くない？
モッチーがバカなことばっか言って遅くなっちゃったんだもん。そうだ、僕が悪だ。味噌汁をよこせ。
まあ早足なら間に合うでしょう。みんなしっかり勉強しといで。
Half dashing, the three ran up the path we came from.
みんな高校生なんだ。
そう。山をぐーっと登ったところに分校があるんだ。私も3年前まで通ってたな。
Even Mochi? Mochi's in high school? Okay. A branch school in the mountain, huh? I'd like to see what that looks like.
やたら不便だね。
Yeah.
それでもみんなあの寮に住める分優遇されてるんだけど。
At least. Supposedly that means you'd rather live there than wherever else you were living before? Chemi was entirely straight-faced. There wasn't even a hint of a smile.
さあ、気合を入れて入りましょう。
そうしましょう。
気合入んない。
We laughed a little and passed the curtain.
いらっしゃい。あら。
The inside was as aged as the outside, but it looked well maintained.
ちえみちゃん、お客さん？
The hostess-looking lady asked. Though somewhat aged and fatigued, she was definitely beautiful. There were two others beside her. One was a lady in her 70s or 80s. She was probably the one I saw this morning. The silhouette matched. The other was a man who seemed a bit younger than her, probably in his late 60s. Though they were just sitting there, there was a menacing aura about them.
紹介するね。房石春明さん。昨日の晩、皿長で迷ってたのを千恵美が保護しました。
Okay. Looks like I didn't need to ask the question. She very clearly said Fusaishi Haruaki, so I think what I was guessing is probably the case. So the game is, or this translation of the game is switching the first and last names for my benefit. So I think I've got that straight. You know, maybe I'll just, so I don't ask this question again, maybe I'll just write that down. Okay. There might be some people who answer that question for me, but it looks like that was unnecessary, so apologies for that. Yeah, okay, let's see their reaction to this. Oh, not good. Not good. Their reactions were powerful. We've got some strong disappointment here. We've got maybe some anger over here. We have a look of abject horror over here. Ooh, the lady gasped, while the two elders rose to their feet with alarm. The tension that was already there the moment I walked in reached its peak.
気にするのもわかるけど、これは単なる偶然です。
Well, by the sound of it, it seems like we're the second of two so far, and I guess that might be bad.
あの子と違って、この人は素性が明らかだし、バイクで旧道に突っ込んで事故ったって非常に気の毒な事情もある。
Little girl, huh?
そんなわけで、我々としてはこの人がちゃんと帰れるように手伝ってあげるのがいいと千恵美は思います。どうですか、皆様方。
Minasamagata. After saying all that, Chiami fell silent. The ball was in their court now.
まあ、それは大変。
The lady voiced a harmless opinion, careful not to accept the old people. It was pretty clear who was in charge. They were elders in more ways than one.
ちいちゃんはなんで夜に皿長なんぞ言っとったかね。
That's a question I have, ma'am.
虫の知らせかな。前の日にあんなことあったし、眠れなかったから。
A hunch about what, precisely?
そいじゃやっぱり読み人じゃないんかね。
I'm afraid I don't know what a Yomi Bito is.
やめ、タイバ
Okay, so she's Taiba. From the conversation, it was pretty clear that something had happened before I arrived here. It was probably similar to what happened with me. She'd mentioned some little girl? Perhaps there was a child who'd wandered in here like I did. According to Chiemi, the Saranaga Rapids were a place of significance around here. It was a place from which dead people came to life, or whatever. Ah, so this Tai must have been the E-lady the boy mentioned. And the, Yomibito? Ah, must have been the term for the dead who came from there. Apparently, the primary goal here was convincing the elders to approve helping me.
おい、どっから来た？
The old man's voice put my derailed mind back on track.
はい、東京です。
いくつじゃ？
年は24です。
地位より上じゃが。
He chuckled. I immediately realized he was taking a jab at me for hiding behind a younger girl.
申し遅れました。久石春明です。芹沢さんにも紹介された通り、バイクで事故って迷い込みました。
I hope it's not gonna be... Well, I don't know about not... I shouldn't say I hope it's not, because it could be... It could be done well. I'm just not sure. First, here's the thing. I don't know if the supernatural exists yet in this story. So that's one thing. But assuming that there is something supernatural to the story, which I don't know. What if it's something like we crashed our bike and we actually died, and yet somehow we were close enough to the river that we've come back alive, and we are actually this Yomi Bito thing that she says we are, or something. I don't know. And I don't know. I'm not sure. It's just what came to my mind when told all that just now. Yeah, I don't know. That's at least that's one thing that comes to mind. We'll have to see how it is going forward.
どうやら僕はここでは異分子のようで、変なことを言ったりしたりして、皆さんに迷惑かけたくないなと。
Of course, if we are this Yomi Bito or whatever it is, we seem to still have all our faculties. You know, we can talk, we have our memories, we are polite. So if there are any downsides of being a Yomi Bito, we don't seem to have any yet. Of course, the elders did seem horrified, so maybe there are some side effects that would not be good.
それで芹沢さんに紹介をお願いしたんですが、僕から改めてお願いします。すぐ出て行きますから、それまでは僕の存在を多めに見ていただけないかと。
Nice and polite.
それと、僕を助けてくれた芹沢さんを責めないであげてください。
春明さん。
おそらく芹沢さんはここの常識を外れたところで僕を助けてくれたんだと思うんです。
まあ
これでも大人です。自分の責任は自分で取りますし、皆さんにかけた迷惑は可能な限り償います。
Okay, I do appreciate this approach. He's taken all the responsibility for himself. My only worry is that they're going to ask him to do something that might be a bit suspect. That's all I'm worrying right now. But this is mostly good, what he's saying here.
ですので、どうかお願いします。
I bowed my head.
ちゃんとしとる、タイバ
Hey, old guy's on our side.
あたしゃすかんわね。そんなに髪茶色に染めてから。
What's wrong with brown hair? Ah, shit. I forgot I didn't look very presentable to more traditionalist people.
ー。よそは皆こうよ。はよう返せばええ。
Yeah, I think a big point in our favor is that by helping us, it's help us leave. We particularly want to just leave. So I think that's a big point in our favor in getting them to help us.
ほいじゃあ好きにしなさいね。
Tai Yama Waki. Okay. I guess I got their half-hearted approval.
春明。春か。うちの孫も春じゃ。紛らわしい。
Ah, I see. Has she inherited some of your personality? She seems pretty blunt.
あ、もしかして
そう、春ちゃんのおじいさんの牧島勘三さんよ。
どうも。
I didn't know what else to say. Haru-chan and I weren't on the best of terms so far. Anyway, it seemed like we were past the difficult part.
皿長に突っ込んだか。
Well, we didn't drive into Saranaga. We kind of crashed before then.
いえ、コンビニで道を聞いた後、脇道に入って未舗装になったところで滑り落ちて横転しました。
で、サラナが登ったか。なぜ途中で引き返さねえ？
He wasn't impressed by my choice of actions. It just hit me that I had no idea how much time passed between the crash and my meeting with Jamie.
わしと匠で見てきちゃる。
匠は他を見よるわよ。
耐えば、追い出す思うて手伝わせ。
カンちゃんはいっつもそうね。
ばあちゃん、おやさん、どうした？
Oh my goodness. Hello, sir. You're quite something. My goodness. We are joined by a new inhabitant.
ちえみ、こいつは？
あ、匠兄ちゃん。
You were the one out in the field. Oh, so he was the one we saw in the field, yes. Wow, he sure looked big from up close. All that field work was good for his muscles, clearly. And from what I could tell, he was in his 30s. As Chami introduced me and told him of my situation, I found out his name, Takumi Muro.
ああ、そいつは災難だったな。ああ、おやさん。
わしとお前で拾う。
だな。ばあちゃん、こいつ助けっからちょっと待っててな。もう農薬は巻き終わってるから、昼から草刈るわ。
This is nice, you know. There was a bit of hesitation, but things are moving smoothly. It feels to me, at least. Yeah, I'm sure we'll get our motorbike and we'll get out of here in no time. Probably just maybe this afternoon, you know. We'll get out of here and everything will be fine.
匠は優しいね。
Nothing will go wrong. He'll head back to Tokyo and it'll just end up being a story he could tell his friends.
こんなもんなんでもないって。すぐ何もなかったようにできるからよ。
そうね。
Nothing, eh?
お兄ちゃんや。
僕ですか？はい。
ここは安水言うてね。あんまりええ場所じゃないんよ。
This is interesting to hear from an elder. It was the place that wasn't good? Not my presence here.
あたしらもよそのもんが苦手だし、よそのもんも触れんがええ。
Understood, ma'am. That's why I'm trying to leave as soon as possible.
じゃから、はよ出てお行き。
That is my intention, yes.
はい、そのつもりです。
話はついた感じか？
ありがとう、匠兄ちゃん。
I was beginning to understand how things worked here. Although Kanzo Makishima's voice was the most powerful here, it was also important to get Tai-san's approval. Kanzo-san was probably in charge of tackling the settlement's practical problems, while Tai-san provided spiritual and moral direction. Are they the only two elders? Or are they just the only ones that are here right now? And when it was time to be civilized, Takumi-san came and convinced Tai-san, acting as an intermediary. It looked like Takumi-san himself understood the subtleties, and Chami seemed to rely on this side of him.
はい、ここらで一つどうぞ。
The lady brought some tea to the old folk. Perfect timing.
おお、かおりさん。俺には飯頼むぜ。
So that was her name.
お、朝早くからお疲れ様でした。大盛りにしますからね。
Aha. Kaori Oribe, so presumably the mother of Yasunaga. I can see where he gets his manners from. She seems a nice, mild-mannered lady.
なーに、安水とばあちゃんとかおりさんのためならへでもねえよ。
まあ。
These two excuse me. These two sure seem to get along well. They looked about the same age too. Really? I guess she kind of looks a bit older. They said he was 30s. I would have guessed maybe 40s. But sure, I could see that.
さあお客さんもご飯にされます？
あ、いえ、いただいてきたので。
それじゃあお茶をどうぞ。おにぎりでもお出ししましょう。
ああ、それは。
ごめんなさい。ちょっと急ぎで電話借りていいかな、香織さん。
Oh?
それはいいけどお茶くらいは。
ありがとう。でもほんと緊急だから行こう、春明さん。
Urgent? What's urgent?
Mm.
It didn't look like I could say no. What's up? We went up the nearby stairs to what seemed like a living space. At the end of the creaky hallway, there was a black rotary phone. A rarity in this day and age.
これがここ、安水唯一の電話だから。
Ooh, my goodness. Log. Huh. Seriously?
ちなみに携帯電話はどのキャリアも通じませんので。
Huh. Well, that's inconvenient, but not surprising.
そうなのか。でもどこに電話しろって？
ロードサービスとか保険とか、あと必要なら家族にも連絡。
That's reasonable. That made sense. Hell, I should have been the one to say that.
さっきも言ったけど、できるだけここを早く出られた方がいいから、使えるものは何でも使いましょう。
よそ者が歓迎されない場所だから？
そういうことです。
Ooh, just straight up confirmation.
それ以上の詮索は無用と。
春明さんはとっても察しがいい。それはいいことだと思う。
Yes, and Haruaki, if we're being reasonable, we should definitely follow that advice. Look, I understand we may unfortunately be a protagonist in a horror story, but for my peace of mind, you should definitely, absolutely follow their advice and leave as quick as possible this afternoon. Let's do that, all right?
ただ好奇心もとっても強く見える。
No, we really shouldn't be. We should just not be that. We should not be curious right now.
バレたか。
バレますとも。でも正直あんまりいろいろ首突っ込まない方がいいかも。
どうせすぐに別れるんだし。
その通り。
なんだか寂しいな。
お、ちえみちゃんのメアド御所も？
くれるならぜひ。
Ooh, he's going for it.
やった。これで男友達53人目。
Ooh.
テンションガタ落ちですわ。
We still went on to exchange our info. I could only hope that being number 53 wasn't as big a problem as it sounded.
それはともかく、個人的興味で言えば、何が問題になってて、どんな背景があるのか知りたいのだけど。
You're getting into prying territory here, Haruaki.
おすすめしないな。
なぜかな。
私が不愉快になるから。
あんまり故郷が好きじゃない？
うん。正直嫌い。
ここの人とは仲良さそうに見えるけど。
ああ、それは見えるだけですね。私相当の問題児だったんで、ご年配方とは結構気まずいよ。それにパッと見はわからないいろんなしがらみもあるし、まあ住人自体はそんなに嫌いじゃないけどね。
With that, I decided to stop prying about this place any further. I'd back away before she came to hate me.
あ、でも一つだけ聞いていい？
いい度胸。何かな？
室匠さんのこと好きだったりする？
Ooh. Kinda gutsy, but you miss every shot you don't take, so let's hear it.
え？私が？
うん。
すがにそれはないな。匠兄ちゃんかっこいいけどごつすぎるし10以上年違うし対象外です。それに匠兄ちゃんは昔から香織さん一筋だし。
やっぱそうなんだ。結婚してるわけじゃないの？
うん、香織さん未亡人だから。
Well, that seemed complicated. That aside, Chimmy had been acting a bit strange. Why'd she drag me away from the tea? It seemed so awkward, too. Assuming she hadn't been jealous of Kaori-san and simply didn't want her to charm me, it would mean that she just hadn't wanted me to drink the tea. Why? Also, why'd she feed me cup ramen if I could have just gotten food at the dining hall? Looking too deep into things was part of my nature, though things were never as bad as I assumed. I went on to call my insurance company, where I found something. Apparently, this village was hundreds of kilometers away from the nearest service station, meaning I was ineligible for the normal service and had to pay extra. And the extra was no small amount, too. It actually went over 100,000 yen. Also, I could have avoided this if I'd taken the more expensive plan. This was all my fault for not taking the bike salesman's advice. Shit. I said I would consider it, and hung up. Then I went back to the dining hall.
あれ、おじいさんたちは。
Didn't try to call your family? The customers had changed completely. Tai-san, Kanzo-san, and Takumi-san were gone now. They were replaced by a caricature of a juvenile delinquent. You're not kidding. My goodness. He shouted at me. He seemed like he was trying too hard, though. He then slammed his bowl and chopsticks onto the table and stood up to intimidate me.
夫妻師春明です。
なめてんのか。
まあ義継、初対面の方になんて口の利き方を。
Yeah, tell him, Kaori. Kaori. Apologies, man.
うるせえババ。おいチェネ。
Hey.
そいつ誰だよ。
Ooh, another Oribe, huh? Then that's doubly bad. Is that your mom? You talk that way to your mom? My goodness.
バイクで事故った旅行者の春明さん。
Boy, was that introduction half-assed.
改めてこちら織部香織さんと次男の義継くん、安永くんが長男ね。
He's younger than Yasunaga? My goodness. I would have guessed Yoshitsugu was older. Ugh, okay.
安永くんって朝の彼？
そう、よく見たら似てるでしょ。
In what way? The Oribes. What an unpredictable family.
兄貴のこと言ってんじゃねえよ。うぜんだよ、うっしゃ。
Okay, buddy.
そう言われてもな、モテちゃうからな、ちえ姉ちゃんは。
Look at that face. And from what I'd seen, that confidence was well justified.
とっとと町へ戻っちまえ、バカ女。バカバカバカ。
Who are you trying to... What is... No. Don't get pulled into it. Just let it go.
どうしよう、春明さん。バカは否定できないかも。
No, I don't think you can.
なんと、ちえみちゃんはバカだったのか。よーし、バカバカ。
ひどい。
言ってやろうぜ、義継くん。バカバカ。
なんなんだよてめえ。チェネバカにしてんじゃねえよ。
You're pretty conflicted, aren't you?
ごめん、ちえみちゃん。本心じゃないんだ。
おお、見事な連続手のひら返し。このちえみをあっけに取られさせるとはなかなかやる 春明さん。
ちえみちゃんには負けないぜ。
付き合ってんのかてめえら。
Well, I'm getting the sense that Haruaki would like to be. Yes. Boy, did I wish.
いい加減になさい、義継。とうに遅刻でしょ。着替えて学校。
うるせえ。行かねえよ。
Mumbling something, the kid walked out of the dining hall, leaving his half-full bowl behind.
ごめんなさいね。お恥ずかしいところを。
根は素直ないい子なんですけどね。
Maybe. Hopefully. Yeah, I could actually see that. Somewhat.
あ、ところで牧島さんとムロさんは？
あ、もうバイク拾いに出ましたよ。
Oh, we should have gone with them. They might need directions.
まずい。追いかけないと。
Yeah.
場所は分かってるみたいだったし、大丈夫じゃない？
Oh, they do? Did you tell them?
いや、一応ニュートラルにすれば押せるけどさ、操作わかるのかな。あとさすがに手伝うべきでしょ。作業が非効率になっちゃまずいし。
その程度なら手出しはやめときましょう。
なんで？
取りも直さず、春明さんがよそ者だからです。長時間一緒に歩くのはちょっとおすすめできない。
With them specifically?
問題になりそうな人たちには思えなかったけど。
そりゃあ二人とも大人だから。でも基本的にこの知恵みほどオープンな人はここにはそうそういないからね。
She's saying this right in front of her. Interesting.
春明さんは平気かもだけど、一緒にいると向こうがストレス溜めるかもしれない。ただでさえ今普通じゃないから。
まあそうね。任せろと言われたら手出しをしない方がいいでしょうね。
So obviously Chami's comfortable saying this around her, so that's probably a good sign.
そうなんですか。
ええ。安水には安水のやり方がある。男の人たちはそれにこだわるから。
I could somewhat understand that. A visitor should behave like one. Doing anything more would be uncalled for. It was an old-fashioned way of thinking, but this was an old-fashioned kind of place, for sure.
じゃあどこで待とうか。
うちに戻って待ちましょう。
Expected as much, but it still made me curious. Normally you'd expect we'd sit around and drink some tea here, right? Or drink some tea right here, so why didn't we? As we waited, Chemi casually but uncomfortably told us everything. We just had an autosave. I'm going to take that as a hint that I should probably stop here. Okay. Oh, excuse me. Okay. All right. Okay. Next time I'll probably do another little recap for myself. Yeah, nothing too crazy as of yet. But a lot about what I'll be talking about at the beginning of next time is probably going to be about Chami and her particular reactions to a lot of this, because I think that's probably been the most interesting thing thus far. Bunch of new characters. Gonna have to write down all their names and all that. But yeah, her behavior, her cautiousness about all this is quite interesting. I didn't make the connection, but Haruaki seems to have made a connection, and of course we've yet to see if he's correct about this or not. But he's made the connection that perhaps her, when I say her, I mean Chami, perhaps Chami's motivation for having him eat breakfast with her at her place and then interrupting us to make a call was because she may not have wanted him to drink or eat any of the food there, which is very ominous. that could mean quite a number of things. We don't know if it's that. You know, in mystery things, it may not. The first thing they tell you may not be what is actually the case, but it's certainly an ominous thing to think about. So I'll probably give a few more thoughts on that when I start up next time again. Yeah, quite a few interesting characters, though. I'll talk about them next time. In any case, hope you're all doing well. I've been The Worm. This has been Raging Loop, and hope to see you next time.